One day, in a small town, a philosophy professor known for his unique teaching style made a special visit to a primary school. When he entered the classroom, a mischievous glint in his eye, he carried a large, empty glass jar under his arm. The students were immediately intrigued. With a playful air, he placed the jar on the table and pulled out a pile of fist-sized stones from beneath the table. One by one, he carefully placed the stones into the jar until no more could fit. He then asked the class, "Is this jar full?" The students, noticing the jar was packed with stones, nodded and said, "Yes," but to their surprise, the professor pulled out a bag of pebbles. He poured them into the jar, gently shaking it, so the pebbles filled the spaces between the stones. Again, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" Some students hesitated, but most still answered, "Yes, now it's full." Next, the professor produced a bag of sand. As he poured it in, the fine grains filled the tiny gaps between the stones and pebbles. Once more, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" By this point, the students were catching on, and some responded, "Probably not." Finally, the professor pulled out a jug of water and poured it into the jar, soaking the sand. He then agreed that the jar was truly full. He turned to the students and said, "This jar represents your life. The stones are the most important things: your family, health, and friends. Even if everything else is lost, if these remain, your life will still feel full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, house, or car. The sand is the small stuff, the trivial things." He continued, "If you fill the jar with sand or pebbles first, there won't be any room for the stones. The same goes for life. If you spend all your time on the small stuff, you'll never have space for the things that truly matter. The stones, your family, health, and dreams, are what bring real happiness and fulfillment." The professor concluded with a powerful message: make sure to place your stones first. They are your foundation, your pillars. Don't let the pebbles or sand, the trivial tasks, take precedence. At the end of your life, it's the stones that will define the value and meaning of your journey. After his speech, a thoughtful student raised her hand and asked, "But professor, what about the water? Where does that fit in our lives?" With a smile, the professor replied, "The water. It shows that no matter how full life may seem, there's always room for a cup of coffee with a friend. Even when you're busy, there's always space for joy, relaxation, and connection. The water represents those spontaneous moments of happiness that make life richer." He concluded by reminding the class that life is not about being constantly busy, but about living a life filled with what matters most. Prioritize your stones, nurture your loved ones, care for your health, pursue your passions, and always make room for laughter and connection. Everything else will fall into place around that.